Hello, beautiful community. If you've ever been told that you're too sensitive, too emotional, too much, this video is for you. Your emotional world is not an issue or a problem to fix. Number one, we've not been taught how to have a proper, healthy, correct relationship with our inner world. And second, we've not been taught the tools to properly navigate this world using our sensitivity as a gift, which is what this video is all about. I'm going to teach you a few simple shifts so that we can begin to have a healthier relationship with our emotions, so that you can start embracing this part of you again, the sensitive, beautifully sensitive part of you. So you're here because at some point in your life, maybe up till today, you've been told that you're just so sensitive, you're so emotional, you're too much, because you feel deeply, right? You feel more, you feel deeper than what society deems is acceptable. Once again, I just want to say that's not a problem. As someone who's spent her whole life hearing feedbacks exactly like what I said, what I find now is that it's just a labeling that is often thrown out, by people who have a very distorted lens, distorted relationship with their own emotions, not to their faults, but because society doesn't honor this part of us. So perhaps you're someone who can walk into a room and immediately sense a vibe, so either of the situation or maybe certain people, and you're usually right. Or you get easily overwhelmed in places, especially crowded and highly stimulated places where most people seem to be perfectly fine with. Or you're someone who easily carry other people's emotions as your own. Perhaps a friend was crying to you about something, and for hours or even days later, you carry that heavy emotions, not knowing what sadness is yours or what emotion is hers. Those are all signs that you're a sensitive being who just simply can't help but feel. And because we've not been taught how to channel or what to do with those feelings, which is, again, we'll get into it, such a gift, we tend to absorb them as our own. Because I believe that in the heart, in the essence of every sensitive being, there is part of you that really want to help the world, really want to help people. And the best way we know how, sometimes without knowing any skills or tools, right? Not being a teacher or a guide or whatever, you simply want to take the load, take the burden, and share their burden with them, right? So that's like instinctively the first thing that I see a lot of sensitive people do. They absorb people's energy as their own, but without knowing the tools, how to process them, it could all become a lot too much to handle. All right, so let's start cultivating a healthier relationship with our inner world and with our sensitivity again. First thing is, if you haven't already, I really need you to accept your nature. All right, so many of us try to conform with society. We want to live into the hustle world, the tough boss babe and this and that. Not saying that any of those are wrong. I believe that everyone's born with their own design. And while some people could be born a warrior in the more physical sense, right? Maybe they're really, really tough. They don't need a lot of time to connect with their inner world, and they're perfectly fine like that. But if you're not someone like that, trying to fit into a mold that's not yours is just going to hurt you in the future because you're denying your true nature. So instead of doing that, we're going to turn back to our own design and learn to embrace the gift that is already there. And for you, it is your sensitivity, it is your very soothing presence, it is your intuition, it is your connection with your emotional world, which honestly, if you look at society, we deem this part as such a negative thing, right? Too emotional, too sensitive, but it's honestly such a gift to already innately have this relationship with yourself as well as the energetic world, right? You can sense the energy of things. It's such a gift. So that's the first thing you're going to do, because it's really hard to love something that you deny. And this video is about embracing our sensitive side, right? So in order to get to embracing, we first have to accept it. And of course, I understand it could be easier said than done. A lot of resistance might come up, maybe childhood memories, something that a comment from an adult when you were young saying that you shouldn't cry, you should toughen up, if you're a male, maybe to men up. So all these resistance are coming up as you move into the acceptance phase, which is beautiful. And so first thing you're going to do is to sit with the resistance, allow the memories to maybe surface, allow the emotions to come up, staying present with it and using your tools, your practice to allow them to pass you by, and know that those were all misunderstandings and distortions from people who didn't truly understand you, or at the time couldn't truly understand you because of their own misunderstanding with what emotions are. Okay, so it's not your fault, and we're gonna let that go. Number 2 is learning how to protect your sensitivity as well as manage it. Because in order to allow something, we first need to feel safe on a body level to be with it and be in it. And by feeling safe, what I mean is, for a lot of us, we've been taught that if we feel a lot, it is a problem, right? Maybe as a child, you might get into trouble, or as an adult, maybe you have gone through something really big and huge and traumatic, for example, a breakup or death of a loved one or something that's a really emotional phase of your life, right? And if you've gone through that, there's always going to be a part of our body that fear that again because it was so hard to be with. All right, so for a second thing we're gonna do is to learn to protect our sensitivity, and I'll get into that in a little bit, but also to manage it when we're in a depth of it. To protect our energy, what I love to teach and share with people is energetic shielding and protection tools. So there are so many different ways, and I know that different practitioners have their own favorite tools. So some examples are visualizing in a meditation, perhaps a golden egg that surrounds you, or perhaps violet flames that surrounds you before you head out into the world, or before you going into a difficult conversation or work or something of that nature. So this is the part where you could get a little bit more creative. Visualizing golden egg or violet flame, I sometimes like to use golden roses that are really high vibrational, or maybe even an actual protection shield wall, like a soft wall, if you feel like you need a lot of protection. So just something that helps you feel protected on an energetic level, because energetically you're someone who is very attuned to the energy around you, right? So not just the physical world, like, oh, this is an arm, this is a laptop, but also what is not spoken in the air, what people are feeling, what you're sensing that is not actually tangible. I also know that some people love to call on their spirit guides. If you have a relationship with your own guides, angels, or benevolent ancestors, or even animal, plant spirits. So I would say let your creativity, and by creativity I mean your intuition, guide you into finding the best protection that works well for you. For me personally, I have something that's called an energetic hygiene practice, which is what I teach most of my clients. That is really beautiful because it includes grounding, receiving grounding cord from the earth, as well as releasing energies that's not ours to carry, as well as calling back energies that truly and authentically belong to us, as well as creating that protection that I mentioned. If you're interested as well, this is something I included in a bundle that I recorded. That's a evergreen at-home practice that you can access anytime, anywhere. I'll link that in the description box. So whichever practice you choose that is your own protection, I would say commit to it for at least 7 days so that you begin to attune to what your energy feels like. And then over time, gradually, it will become a little easier to kind of decide or understand, oh, this energy is not mine because it's unfamiliar, or like, okay, I feel a little off kilter now because I know that when I'm in my center, this is how it feels. All right, so commit to at least 7 days, 21 days, if you can, a month, so that you really can come to understand your own energetic flavor and signature. And the third point would be to channel your sensitivity, because the way that you can truly embrace and learn to love something is if you understand that there is immense value in it. And your sensitivity only becomes a burden when it has nowhere to go. Nowhere to go meaning energetically we can process that, which is something else that we will talk about, but also in the physical realm, I find that it's very, very beautiful if your sensitivity has a channel that it can go into. So to give you an example, the way I channel my sensitivity is that I pour it into my soul work. Right? The same sensitivity that was once a burden, because I'm sensing all these and I'm seeing patterns and I'm seeing people's like what's not being spoken, but what is actually there. And now when I can channel that into helping people, it's essentially the same thing. But then I learned to see so much value in it because of the things that I can sense. I can guide them into healing, into growth, into coming closer to their true self. And every single time I receive feedback like, wow, yeah, you're saying all the things that I can feel, that I kind of deep down know, but I didn't dare to say it, or that I managed to help them see a pattern that they didn't see for a big part of their life. Every time I receive feedback like that, I am telling my subconscious that this gift is helpful. This truly is a gift because it's helping people, it's helping the people around those people, and ultimately the world. So for you, maybe your calling is not to be a teacher or a guide, but you can equally channel it, say, into poetry. Everything that you sense, write it down in beautiful words, or arts. Maybe words don't make sense, you can paint it into beautiful art. So many artists channel their sensitivity that way. Or music. I've also seen a lot of people who would channel what they feel, sometimes, especially with everything that's going on around the world these days. A lot of us feel angry, we feel upset. Some of us even feel helpless. We feel like, oh, this is all really messed up, but we don't know what to do. So again, your sensitivity only becomes a burden when it has nowhere to go. So I've also seen a lot of people using injustice and their emotions toward the injustice to fuel them into maybe humanitarian work, advocating for different people, let it be animals, stray animals, or maybe kids, or even coming down into your day-to-day life. You can easily channel your sensitivity into, say, being that friend who really listens, right? That friend who has a very soothing presence. Even without you saying a word, someone could feel safe just in your presence and feel understood, because knowing that you won't judge them. So there's so many ways that we can channel our sensitivity. Spend a few moments and drop into your heart and see what comes easy to you, what feels true to you, and channel your sensitivity into that. And over time, you're telling and rewiring your own belief system that your sensitivity and your connection to your emotions, and as well as the energetic realm, is a gift and not a burden. The fourth point is surround yourself with people who can really see your sensitivity and all parts of you as a gift. Over the years, I've really learned that the people around you can either make you feel like your sensitivity is a gift or a curse, a problem. As human beings, our belief system make up a big part of how we interact with the world and what we believe to be true, not just about the world, but also about ourselves. Every time we receive a response from the outside world, depending on the things we say or how we act, whether that's a positive or a negative response, we kind of translate that into our subconscious as a belief system, into a statement, into a fact, right? Even though it might not be an objective fact, to our system, to our body, it becomes a fact. There are so many different studies that back this up, even from a scientific perspective. Between 0 to 7, we're in this, as babies, as infants, we're in this really impressionable state where our brain is kind of like soft jelly, and whatever people are feeding us, we take that as truth. Coming back to nurturing your relationship with your sensitivity, it's exactly the same thing. So imagine if every time you display, this beautiful quality of yours, and someone's like, no, oh my gosh, why are you feeling like this? Why are you being so much? Why are you being so difficult? What is that going to say? What is that going to make you feel about yourself? right? That you're too much, that you need to hide this part, that it's not good, that it is something that's worthy of judgment and criticism. But let's say every time you see something so beautiful that you start to tear up, or you receive really good news and you're dancing around your kitchen, in the weirdest dance move, and people around you are like, wow, you're so full of life, and give you a lot of positive feedback. That is gonna give your subconscious a completely different belief system. So I have so many examples of how the tribe that I surround myself with, that I choose to surround myself with, have really helped me heal this part of me and reclaim this like emotional and sensitive word as a positive thing. One example I can think of is when I was living in Bali, and one of my really, really good friends, Fatima, we had just finished a dance. We were having a conversation with another man, and we were talking about music. And I remember that the conversation was so beautiful that I started tearing up and straight up started crying. And if it were like anyone else, they might have been like, wow, this girl is so weird. I actually had to apologize because at the time I didn't fully embrace this part of me yet. So as I was tearing up and crying, I had to like laugh and cry at the same time. And I told this man that I had just met, I said, I'm so sorry. I'm not crazy. I promise I'm not crazy. I'm just really, really happy because of how beautiful this conversation is right now. And my dear friend Fatima, she came in and she's like, yeah, she's beautiful. She's a gift. She does this all the time. Something about that moment really like wired my brain differently. I remember even now, if someone kind of responds or reacts negatively to my sensitivity, like let's say I see a beautiful flower and I was like, wow, I need to take a moment. And if someone looks at me weird, I no longer take it as like, that's my problem. I need to hide my joy. Because I remember this memory of how Fatima accepted me, because she accepts this part in herself as well, and she embraces it. She welcomes my gift, my emotional side. She welcomes me and she embraces me as a full person. I remember that there are people like this who will accept me and love me unconditionally. And so coming back to say, like, if there are any times that people give me negative reactions because of my sensitive nature, I'll be like, it's not my problem. There are plenty of people who will and can accept me because they can accept themselves. So yeah, I'm sorry that you have a distorted relationship, or you haven't fully explored your own sensitivity, that you feel the need to harshly judge me, but it's not my problem. Without those, my tribe, my soulmate friends who have shown me that it's possible for your community to welcome the sensitive part of you, the messy part of you, the wholeness of you. Without that, I would dare to say that I would have a very different relationship with my own emotions today. And if you don't have those people around you in your world yet, go out and find them. Join communities, maybe a healing circle, maybe a spiritual community, maybe a dance club, whatever it is. Find your people. Well, first of all, decide that you will find them, and then go out and find them. Because the right people will make you feel like your nature, all parts of you, is not a problem, and that it's beautiful and it's a gift. Number 5 is, if you desire to understand yourself on a deeper, slightly more analytical way, tools like astrology, human design, numerology, even Bazi can be so validating. For example, for me, understanding that I have a lot of Pisces in my chart and I'm a life path number 9. Not that I'm very well versed in like numerology at all. I started with Western astrology, so I learned to read my own chart, which is so helpful because every once in a while when I'm in kind of like in a lull and I would look at my chart and see how the stars are interacting with my chart, I'm like, oh, okay, this is why I feel this way. And it isn't really proof that I need, it's more like then it feels like a permission slip for me, like, okay, I'm not crazy. It's just Mercury retrograde. or something else. It's just Saturn return, yeah, or something else. So if you're also someone who, you know, you might need a little bit more to understand your design. If you're interested in that, learning your own blueprint can feel like such a permission slip, can feel so validating, because I believe that each of us are born in this life with very distinct skill set, personality, different life challenges, and ultimately life goals and life lessons. And so if we can know our blueprint a little bit more clearly or intimately, then it helps us to stop fighting against our design and start to embrace it a little bit more. I hope that you found today's video helpful. If you feel called, feel free to like, subscribe, leave me a comment, or DM me. Share with me your story with your own sensitivity, and know that I'm rooting for you. And welcome to the community. I love, love, love having people like you, sensitive, growth-oriented, self-aware, beautiful souls. I love having you here, and I'll see you next time.